what would you say is like your secret to your success?
The interesting part to me was it wasn't something that I sat down and said, oh, I'm going to do this many practices. I'm going to take on this many things. So in 2014 was when one of the doctor who wanted to come join me in my Morgantown practice, the 7-up practice. And that practice, I don't have any room for any other doctor coming in there because I use all 7 full. And my philosophy is that there's no chair that should sit idle because that's money lost at that point. So all the chairs needs to be humming at all times. So we knew that it was going to be a little bit of disruption to get an associate doctor in there. So I really liked her. So one thing that we decided to do was to open up a satellite practice, to open that up for her, and then we can run that practice because obviously I already knew how to do one. I could probably do another. So that was kind of my thought process. The thing that I didn't realize was the background of where the doctor was coming from. And this doctor, I mean, super nice lady, just amazing personality. But when she came out of dental school, she went from one practice to another, more in the corporate setting. And I don't mean to say that corporate setting is bad, because I know plenty of doctors who've done well too, but sometimes it's where you latch yourself and how you grow yourself and where your principle is going to lie. So I always say when you're coming out of dental school, it's like, it's an imprinting process at that point. Where you go and what you're trying to go after, you need to be in a good environment where you're learning things properly and do things the right way. If your goal or if your end goal is not aligning with where you want to be, then now you're not going to be growing to be. Again, like when it's a practice, you learn the stuff right the first time, and then you repeat it over and over and over. Now you only get better. You learn something wrong from the beginning, and you repeat that over and over, you're only going to get worse from that point. So I see that over and over, and a lot of the young doctors coming out, I really try to ask them to make sure that you know what you want to do. You may not want to, or you may not know, but always match with a good mentor. So at least you're going to learn the right stuff, because then you're on the right path. So this doctor, I felt she was a great doctor, but the environment that she was in kind of really limited her from being able to diagnose things properly and being able to do that comprehensive care. It was very reactive dentistry that she was doing. Patient comes in, say tooth broken, without really sitting down and taking full mouth series and do a comprehensive treatment plan, talking to the patient and walking them through. She just fixes it, and then that was that. Nothing wrong with that, but that's not the type of dentistry that we wanted to do. And we wanted to do developing relationship. I mean, I'm in a dentistry right now where I saw a child who's a 2-year-old grew up, now is a hygienist of mine. I've seen patients 20 years ago, now still we're talking about, wow, it has been 20 years. And then I see the work that I've done. When you become a critic of your own work and you're able to objectively say, that's wrong, that I didn't do that right, I can redo that, and I can do better, that's when you know you're going to become a good dentist, or good in any field that you're going to be in, because you got to be your worst critic, if anything. So when I look at something that I did 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and go, yep, I can do that better now, and be able to say to the patient, I can do this better for you. That was the best technology that was that at the point. We have this something new that's better, and patients totally understand, and they get, and then when they get that experience, they're like, wow, this is amazing. I can't believe, I remember when we did that 10 years ago, that was so traumatic sometimes, but now they're like, this is easy, this is a breeze. So then that also changes the mindset of recipient side of the dentistry too. And for me, that's exciting because we're seeing that change. And then people always kind of talk about how there's nothing more fun than when patient sits down and accepts the treatment plan, because they know they can trust you. And they say, if anybody, I knew you would know how to do this. If anybody, I know that you would have this technology in your office. I always want to know more than my patients. I don't want them to coming back and say I read in Facebook, or I saw it on the news, and I don't have that. Why don't you have it? I need to know why I don't have it so I can explain that. Or better yet, being able to say, oh, I know what you're talking about, but this is the better technology that I have for you because X, Y, and Z. So that's like, I always want to approach that in the educator side of perspectives. And I think a lot of times these young doctors who's getting into that, I mean, which I understand, because they come out of what, $500,000 in debt right now, just like easy, undergrad and grad. And when they come out and that time clicks and they got to start to pay that loan and they get that pressure, I know you have to do what you have to do. I get that. But I think the mindset of where you want to be is start to divert because your ideology of where you want to be as a dentist and then where the reality sets, and that start to diverge a little bit, and that makes people stressed out. So when you're in the right place and right environment and know how you're going to grow, I think that helps. So when I was an associate, I felt like that was a divergence that I see. So I was in a practice where a doctor did not even recommend resin. Whenever I treatment plan resin, he would flip it to amalgam. And I understand it's that he understands that amalgam worked really well for him, but we need to start to move toward, like, everything was just partial instead of implants, because he didn't believe those type of a newer dentistry is going to be better for the patient. So we knew we were diverging from that point. So coming out of it, I thought either I'm going to be becoming a dental gypsy from office to office, or I'm going to have to start something on my own. Otherwise, I'm never going to be able to build this relationship-based practice that I wanted to have. So that's when that the opportunity opened up where I could lease the space, and then that's where I started. Some people, I think, do love their associateship or be like fractional partners or even become a partner because, again, you don't know what you don't know. So if you ended up partnering with somebody who knows what they're doing and then synergistically you can grow so that much better, then be it. But it's also like self-reflection and knowing, can you work with other people? Are you able to give that control? Are you able to admit what you don't know and able to bring in somebody that who knows and be able to work together? Those are all the things I think you have to think about before you decide whether you want to be an associate forever or be a partner or be a fractional partner, or if you want to own your own. I think it's very, very hard. And I've seen a lot of doctors who come out and think that they can do it and then just fare miserably, and then that becomes, it just crushes their soul, and that's so sad. So I think kind of learning, there's so many different aspects to go with it, especially in dentistry. I think it's important to know and then have the right mentors and right people to talk to, and then be able to learn that path. Hopefully not make a mistake and then go back, but being able to follow the right path.